guys, and welcome back to my IGTV videos. Before I start, I just want to say thank you guys for being so patient with me. I know I asked over on my IG stories weeks ago about things that you wanted to hear and see from me, and yes, it's been a really busy couple of weeks, but I'm hoping to slowly get back into the groove of things, and yeah, it's gonna be a really busy next couple of weeks. So I just wanted to start off with saying I'm so sorry that it's taken so long, but in this video I'm going to cover two of the questions that I've been asked, and one I get quite often is how to contour, and the other I've had a few times now as well is work appropriate makeup. So I'm going to show you both of those things combined into the one video today, and yes, you can either choose to contour for work, or you can choose to bronze for work, or whatever you feel like doing, girl, you do you. So I'm going to start off with the video by priming my skin. So I think that that's really important for a normal work day, is to have a good primer. If you don't prime your skin, or if you don't have a primer, a good moisturizer will always help. But just make sure you're using the right moisturizer for your skin type as well, because you don't want your makeup to start moving throughout the day and things like that. So for today, I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter primer. This is such a nice primer. I've said it before and I will say it again. I love it so much. It smells good. It feels good on the skin. It's like a really thick moisturizer, but it's a primer, so it's really good. So I'm just gonna prime my skin with that, and for this video I'm gonna be using this Taupe palette. It's a matte palette, so I think for work something very natural and simple is always key. That way if you choose to go out after work for drinks or anything like that, then at least you've got, like, you know, enough to keep you put together for the whole day. So I'm going to be using mostly matte eyeshadows today, and I'm going to show you how I do that and how I create like a flawless, soft kind of glam look. Okay, my brushes. So doing a bit of a talk through today, so I can't edit all this stuff up, so I'm going to have to be quite precise. So for today, I'm going to use my Estee Lauder foundation. So I'm going to use a combination of the two. I've got here shell beige and bronze, and I think I'm in between the two of these colors. So I'm just going to use a little bit of each just to warm up my skin and to just cover some of those blemishes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a soft layer of foundation, because I'm going to show you how to contour today. So that means I'm going to be using like cream products, so I don't want to go in too heavy with the foundation because I don't want it to look cakey. So yeah, see, like this one's a little bit too yellow, but it's, when I mix them it kind of looks okay. So sorry guys, I had to cut that video and start again. I'm using the back of my phone to film, the back camera, so it is a bit hard to see myself and also see what you guys are looking at. So yeah, so excuse me if I have to stop this video a few times and then like jump from step to step, but I'll just repeat what I did. So I have mixed two of these Estee Lauder foundations. So I've got shell beige and bronze here, and I've just added a very soft light layer onto my skin. I don't want to add too much of foundation onto my skin because I'm going to show you guys how to cream contour. So if you're a beginner, and the question the girl asked for this particular cream contour part of the video, she also asked where you can get like cream contour colors to suit a bronze and a highlight kind of look. So I recommend going into Priceline if you are a beginner and you haven't got anything you know, to start your contour journey. I think go into Priceline, and there is a really nice NYX palette that if I'm not mistaken has the bronze colors as well as the highlighter colors as well, and there are maybe one or two powders. Is that right? I'm not sure, but I will link something below for you guys to have a look at if you're a beginner. But if you're you know, you contour all the time and you bronze all the time, my favorite product that I use, like majority of my clients, is the Chanel Soleil de Tan bronzer. It's beautiful. It has such a lovely like tinge of gold in it as well, but it's so subtle that it just looks really nice and natural. So that's a really good product to have in your kit if you are someone who loves to cream contour. Okay, so for this video I'm just using one of my pro palettes. So I'm gonna use a combination of light shades, and you want to start doing your highlight first. It just depends, like if you feel like you want to bronze first, you can, but I really enjoy doing the highlighting part first. So I usually take it underneath my eye, and I'm just mixing two colors because I'm a neutral undertone, so I'm mixing these two shades together, and I'm just sweeping it under my eye. Now, depending on your face shape, that is the key to a good contour, is depending on your face shape, you want to drag the product out to places where you want to draw the most light. So for me, my face is quite round, and it's not very long, but it is round. So I generally like to take a highlighting color up till about here. I don't drag it all the way unless I'm after that particular look, but I take it all the way underneath my eye and just slightly under my nose. So it's not a full triangle, but it's kind of just dragging against the nose, and I do take it up the sides of the nose as well, and that just helps with the shape of the nose as well when you're going into contour. So just along the side of the nose, and then just go under the eye and conceal your dark circles. I take it up along here as well. Now, I don't go fully onto my forehead. I don't have a necessarily large forehead or very small one, so I don't need to do too much on my forehead. So I just generally from eyebrow to eyebrow like that, and then I just blend it in. But we'll do the blending together at the end. And then I take some along the nose. Now, you want to try and keep it as direct on that nose bone as you can, because you do want to keep the shape of like a nice straight nose. And I take it all the way down as well, just here. But as you see, if you can see this, I haven't connected the two together. So I kind of stop here and then I start there again. And I think that makes it look nice and natural. So I then connect all of this together because that needs to all look the same. And what I do is I take some along my Cupid's bow. It just helps to enlarge this part for me. You don't have to do this part necessarily, but for my shape of my face, I do like a little bit of highlight under here and underneath the chin. Now, I know this kind of looks crazy, but you have to just be patient and play it out. So now that you've got the color of where all the highlights are going, you want to take your brush and just start blending. So this blending process is quite time consuming if you are not a person that wears makeup on the daily, or you know, enjoys spending time on your makeup, then you know this is not for you. But you do need to spend some time making sure all that product is nice and melted into the skin, so it looks soft and diffused, and you can just keep blending it out. Now, another person asked me, how do you know when things are supposed to look blended? So how I can tell when something looks blended is you can see the highlight, but you can't really see where the product stopped or started, if that makes sense. But what's happened here is that you can't really tell from here to here where the product stops, and that will make a nice transition for when you do a contour. So you just want to work slowly. So what I do now is, after I've done the blending with that small brush, I take my foundation brush that I used before and I go over all of those little blending streaks that I've made with my little brush, and I just want it to look natural. So I always take this over to make that highlight not look so caked on. this is a good way to make sure it's all looking nice and even as well before you start doing your contour. Okay. And then for contour, I probably will use the same brush because I'll wash this after. So you're just going to use another brush and then using a darker shade. Now, I wouldn't go too dark, but I would go maybe 3 or 4 shades darker than your normal skin tone. So for me, I'd probably go somewhere around here. Sorry, can you see those around here? And you just want to grab that product and warm it up firstly, so it's nice and silky. And you want to see where the start of your cheekbone is. So for me, it's just here, and usually it's just where your ear is. And you want to take that product and you just want to start making a little mark like that. It's gone a little bit darker so you guys can see. And I don't drag it down, so this is as well, depending on the shape of your face, you will know how to drag the product down. So I will insert a picture here after the video of different ways and shapes to contour your face, and yeah, which looks the best, I guess. But for me, I like to take it up a little bit like this, and then in here like that, because what I want to do is I want to be able to blend this out into my hairline, so I don't want it to go too, you know, below, because that will draw more light, more shadow into this half of your face. And then you're going to take some of the product along your forehead. So for me, I just do a little bit around here. I don't really do too much on the top of my forehead, but we'll do just a little to make it look more natural. As you can tell, like, I actually use the most amount of product on my face and the least amount on my forehead, just because you can see more makeup on your forehead. And this is for all the girls who want to hide all those extra donuts you've been eating. And girl, you know that's me too. So you just want to take that color, that concealer underneath your chin, and bring it up to your jaw like that. And what I do after that is I connect these two together like that. And then I don't wait for it to dry, I start blending all of those things together. So you just want to slowly work with the product and make sure it's nice and warm. So this kind of motion helps with that, the circular motion, into feeling nice and warm and settled in the skin. And make sure you blend. This is the most important part, and this is when I can tell like a contour hasn't gone very well, is when you see this part of the face looking really like disconnected. And you can tell that I use a small brush, and I use a small brush because it's very precise, and I like to have control rather than, you know, blend everything in together and have this like muddy looking face. That's the worst. So use a small brush. I know it takes a lot longer, but it's worth it, especially for cream products. Okay, and once you've blended, you think you've done as much as you can put that brush away, and then you can use a bigger brush. And this is now going to help with all the powders that we're going to put, those shadows that we've created using the cream contour. So for bronzer today, I'm just using my Hourglass palette, and I'm going to use these two shades. And I'm going to, I don't like to buff it in too much, but I just want to like stamp it in first so that the product is actually sitting on the skin quite nicely. And when I see that it's taken well, then I'll go in and I'll just buff it into my hair, and using the least amount of that product on the top of my forehead, and then going in again for this side. And then I actually don't use additional product when I'm connecting it to the jawline. I just connect it using the brush, and then I use a little bit more just under the front of this chin here, and I sweep it to the back like that. Now you can already see what a nice color that's given to the skin. I use a mixture between warm and cool tones on my skin, just because I feel like I like that kind of look a little bit better. Cool tones don't suit me, and I feel like warm tones don't suit me, so the mix is quite nice. Okay, and then for powder to set under those under eyes and the contour, the highlighted parts of my face, I'm just going to go in again with that little brush. Actually, I'm going to use a different brush because that one has darker concealer on it. So I'm just going to go in and make sure all of those lines have increased. And then I'm going to go in with a brush just to set that. And I'm going to use the lighter shade from that palette. I think this is called Dim Light, and it's my favorite. It has such a pretty kind of like sheen to it. It's really pretty. And I'm just going to set that, and I'm going to remember to take it up the nose as well, just alongside here. I know we haven't contoured the nose yet, but I always leave it till last. And just around the mouth, like that. And that is how you contour and highlight. Once all those powders have set, I'm going to go back into that palette, and I'm going to use a mixture of those two darker shades that I took, not the darkest one, but the lighter ones, just to contour my nose. And I'll just start from up here. So usually when I contour my nose, I just start from the middle and I take it up. Gosh, this is hard to do looking down. And then what I want to do is I want to like draw out this part of my nose. So I want to follow where I've kind of highlighted, but I don't want it to go up like two streaks. I hate that look. It never works for me as well, like for me or the style that I do for makeup. So I just concentrate on the bottom of the nose, the tip here, and I just shade that in like that. It just helps to shorten it, just make it look a bit more in tune with the rest of the shading that we're doing. And I take slightly up around the tip of the nose, but I don't connect the two. But what I will do is I will start like connecting this into my eye socket. I love doing this. This is actually a really good step because it does help with your nose contour. It makes it look more natural. And just take it down the side of the nose like that. Obviously, if you feel like your nose is bigger and you would prefer it to go all the way down, you can try it, because you know, makeup's all about trying. You never know how you'll feel until you do it yourself. So try. Okay, now once you have all of that product in, I'll set it with the bronzer again. So I'm just going to use the same brush now to use the bronzer, and I will take it out into my eye socket and along the nose. I love that. That's such a nice natural contour for my nose. So now that that's done, you can at this point highlight and do your blush. So I probably will do that now. A nice blush that I've been using a lot of lately is this palette by NARS, but I actually might just stick with this Hourglass one because there is a really pretty blush in here as well. So I might use this pink one in the middle. So I do my blush first, and then I change in between my highlight and my blush again. So I'll show you. Kind of stamp on the blush just to get the color going on the skin, and drag it up into where that contour starts as well, into the hairline. And just a touch on the nose. Very little brush with me here, so I'm going to show you how you can still do it with a little brush. I'm going to use the highlight from this palette, the highlighter, and I'm going to just dot it on where I want it to go. So for example here, and then I'm just going to blend it in slowly. Other makeup artists that are going to watch this, they're going to be like, oh my god, get another brush. But look, I'm feeling particularly lazy today, so I'm not going to bother too much. Okay, so I take that highlighter under my eyebrow bone as well, and just along this part of my face like that, and it looks nice and natural. And then just go over with my finger. So not too much, just a little bit. I love a good eyebrow highlight. I think it's so important to have some light underneath your eyebrows, because it gives you like that illusion of like a more defined eyebrow shape, which is always pretty. Okay, so as you can see, it's not like a crazy highlighter. These Hourglass powders are beautiful because they're not too much, and I love them for that exact reason. And then I'm going to take that onto my brush, and I'm just going to take it along the middle of my nose more than anything, like that. And I'm just going to keep blending it in just a touch. And then what you can do is you can also take it a little bit onto the tip of your nose, like that. It adds a nice shape. Okay, and that is how I contour and highlight. Now, for the eyes, I'm going to show you a really quick and simple look that I would do if I was going to a meeting, or you know, having a full day at work. Now I'm using my Taupe palette, so these are all matte shades, and I'm going to go in with something. I would prime my eyes first actually, but in this case I'm just going to roll with it because I don't have much time. So I'm just going to go in with something natural. So I'm going to start with this one and just run it across my crease. Now, because this is such a natural color, you probably won't see a lot of it, but it will help with the transition of the other colors that you're going to put onto your eye. So something that's close to your skin color is good for a transition shade for a normal everyday look, work look. You can even use your bronzer. This is where like I would probably use my bronzer. It's already added so much definition to my eye. And then I'm feeling like I might go in with this color here called Natural Beauty. It's got a hint of like a purple shade to it too, which is quite nice. And I would just add that onto the crease again. So we'll just go over it with this fluffy brush. I don't change my brushes as well. I probably will just use one brush for this whole look, and maybe a smaller brush just for the inner corners. And what I will do is I will go in with the same blush that I used on my cheeks, and I will use that in my eye as well. So this is where if you were using your bronzer and your blush together would look stunning. In fact, I would do this a lot when I was, you know, if I had thing commitments at work that needed me to look a little bit more decent. So adding that little pink in gives it a nice little wash of color. And go back into that Tarte palette and use those two colors that I used in the beginning just to run down my lash line. Is I would grab like a tight liner brush, so something that's small and precise, and go in with, I wouldn't go in with black, but I would go in with a darker brown, so maybe these two browns, and I would just line my eyes using the brown. I don't suggest an eyeliner only because it will look a bit more harsh. So if you want this look to look quite soft and natural, use an eyeshadow. You'll find that you'll actually enjoy it a bit more than an eyeliner. So just very slowly go in, line the eye. And I would do the bottom as well at this point. Okay, and then what I would do after this is I would actually use a small brush to just diffuse that stuff out, just to diffuse the eyeshadow out. So go in and just don't use any additional product, just use a brush and just blend it all out like that. Using the same highlighter that you used for your face, you can just use that and add a little bit of color, light to the inner corners like that. So I will just always curl my lashes, and I suggest you do too. It just really helps, I guess, with the curl of your lash and the longevity of how nice and curled they stay. Now just time to do your eyebrows. So I'm going to use my pencil. It's really quick and easy with a pencil. Doesn't take long at all. So you just brush your hairs up and then fold them in. Pretty much that's it. My everyday like nude, pinky nude is this NARS American Woman. Actually, I will wear this one because it's really pretty. And I use a darker liner, so I kind of just slightly line and then go in with your lippy. And this too I don't use a lot of if it's like an everyday thing. Okay guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was super quick, hey, and it didn't really take a lot of time, and the steps were kind of like, you know, quite easy, I hope, for you guys to master. So I hope that answered some of your questions for those that asked about the contouring and the everyday work makeup looks. So if you did enjoy this and you want more of these quick tutorials, I would love to do them. They were so nice for me to just sit down and film like this. So yeah, let me know what you'd like to see next and I will be sure to get that to you. And I'll also do my best to answer as much as I can on the other story that I posted. So yes, please be patient. It's going to be a huge couple of weeks. I've got a workshop coming up, so I can't wait to show you guys what's happening then as well. And we've got some great sponsors, so I'm really excited about the day. If you would like to purchase a seat, I've still got seats available, so you can DM me and I will send you more information. But that's it for today, and yeah, take care and love yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye!